Hey guys, welcome to Feature Junkie. My name's Ed, and thank you guys for joining me today. If this is your first time here, well, welcome. This is Feature Junkie, where we talk all things movies, TV shows, streaming, all that great stuff. And today we're going to be checking out the series Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, created by Ian Brennan and Ryan Murphy, starring Evan Peters, Richard Jenkins, Molly Ringwald, and Niecy Nash. So right now, IMDb has this series rated as an 8 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes has this as a 60%, and Metacritic has this as a 45 out of 100. They're all very different scores, and I have a few things to say about it, but before I do, if you could leave a like down below, I'd greatly appreciate that. Now let's get into the plot courtesy of IMDb. One of America's most notorious serial killers, largely told from the point of view of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims, and divides into the police's incompetence that allowed the Wisconsin native to go on a multiple-year killing spree. The series dramatizes at least 10 instances where Dahmer was almost apprehended but ultimately let go. The series also touches on Dahmer, a clean-cut, good-looking guy, was repeatedly given a free pass by the cops as well as by a judge who were lenient when he had been charged with petty crimes. So Dahmer is a 10-episode limited series, and right off the bat you really have to address what Jeffrey Dahmer did and the horrendous acts that he did. To me, honestly, he should have rotted in jail. He got the sentence that he should have gotten, and the fact that he was seen as almost a celebrity while in jail was a little bit discomforting to me, but in the end, karma really got him, and that's all I can really say about Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, when we talk about Evan Peters, he's an actor, and sometimes it's hard to separate the actor from the character that they play, and to me, Evan does a really great job portraying this character. He's cold, he's heartless, and he's unhinged, and that's why, you know, Evan Peters as the person is getting so much backlash, because he does such a great job tapping into this Jeffrey Dahmer personality, and all that really does is just show like how great of a portrayal that Evan Peters does. Richard Jenkins is another one that I thought he did a really good job playing the father. Part of me feels like really sorry for him that he's wrapped up in all of this. But at the same time, you kind of feel like he's sort of to blame for some of what goes on with Jeffrey Dahmer. Really, both parenting styles, I personally believe, had something to contribute to why Jeffrey Dahmer was who he was. And then Niecy Nash, I'm a really big fan of her, but in this instance, I was actually kind of half and half on her portrayal. I think she did a great performance as the next door neighbor, and this might sound insensitive, and by no means am I taking anything away from the actual person. I think she's a true hero for trying to get justice for all the victims and trying to get that park, but it really did feel like some of the dialogue that she was given, Niecy Nash, wasn't really the best. Like, I get they wanted to get their point across about her telling the police and the cops that Jeffrey Dahmer has been doing something in that apartment for years, and again, she really wanted that park, but no knock on the real life person. Again, it just came off as repetitive throughout the series, and part of me has to feel like it has something to do with the length of the show. To me, I think that they could have compacted the series to like maybe a 5-episode series, and they could have gotten their point across just the same. Now, as the show collectively, I think it's going to be hard for most people to watch. I enjoyed watching this because I actually knew nothing about Jeffrey Dahmer, and it gave me a little bit more insight of who this actual person was. And I think the great creator, Ryan Murphy, who has done amazing projects such as Glee and all that other stuff, wanted to inform people about this monster. Ryan has been a huge supporter of the LGBT plus community for so many years, and I think this was also his way of showing respect to those victims. I also think they went a little bit graphic with the show because they didn't want to sugarcoat any of the atrocities that happened. So when you think of the show in that perspective, and you take into account all the performances that the actors have done, which were all great, I think that you have to consider this show a hit and a recommendation. Again, I don't think this series is gonna be for everyone. Obviously, you have to take into account the absurd nature of a guy killing his victims and then eating them afterwards. It's really hard to watch. So if that turns you off, completely understand. I think that first episode really illuminates the pacing of what happens from there on out. You have really graphic stories with the child that the police didn't do anything about and brought him back into Jeffrey Dahmer's house. You have the victim that was death. You have the relationship between Jeffrey and his father, his mother, really everyone connected to that specific story. You have the police that they show later on prank calling the Filipino family, and it's just really heartbreaking to see. So those are all really factors, going forward if you want to watch this show or not. But I really want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this show? Whatever they are, leave those thoughts in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe, hit that notification icon down below so you know when I'm going live or dropping new content. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here today on Feature Junkie.